Today I'm going to show you how to tune the Hatsan Hydra. This is a gun that is extremely easy to switch calibers up from 177, 22, 25, and there's even an arrow barrel on its way. But it's set up basically tuned from the factory perfect for 22. You can put your 177 barrel on there, and with heavy pellets you'll be shooting fine. You can put your 25 caliber barrel on there, and with lighter pellets it'll be shooting great, but it's a little weak as it comes for 25, and it's a little hot as it comes for 177, but that's no problem because you can tune it. I'm going to show you how to do it. So the first thing you need to do, now you'll notice before I start anything that I have the barrel in place here. Now I can just turn this screw and remove the barrel, but for the purposes of tuning it I need to have that barrel on so that I can cock the gun and this sort of thing. So first thing we do is take a Phillips head screwdriver and remove the single stock screw here. Now we can work the receiver out of the stock. It's nice and snug the way you want it to be. And set that aside. Now with the gun out of the stock, I am ready to remove the pressure from here. You can do it with the gun in the stock, but I just want you to be able to see this degassing screw that's right behind the gauge. I have already fired the gun into my duct seal, so I know that there's no pellet in the chamber here, and we're ready to go. So you just have to crack this screw a tiny bit, and it'll bleed off the gas. Okay, now the gun is completely safe and I'm able to work on it without any hesitation here. Now this is the hammer spring adjustment screw back here, but before we touch it we have to loosen up two set screws. So I'm going to take my 2mm Allen wrench and loosen that set screw up, and then I'm going to go ahead and cock the gun, and that will expose a set screw right here. Now I don't want to remove that one all the way because it's a pain to get back in, so I'm just going to, once it's cocked I can just move that bolt handle out of the way. So now I'm just going to take that and loosen it a bit, and that frees up this hammer to move. It's a nice feature because Hatsan's made it so it locks in place, so once you've got your adjustments where you need them, you won't have it moving around on you. Now this is not the same system as in the AT-44 and other Hatsan guns like that, where it's counterintuitive, meaning that to loosen up the hammer spring tension, I turn it to the right, clockwise, and if I want to increase the power, I turn it counterclockwise. This is direct, so if I want to increase the power, I turn that hammer spring in. If I want to decrease it, I pull it out like this. So right now it's shooting the JSB 25 grain Kings at about 800 feet per second. I can compress this spring and get about another 30 feet per second out of it. But if I go too far, then it's going to start messing with the sears and it's not going to want to cock and so forth. So just keep that in mind. Don't go too far. You'll notice once it won't cock and it's going to give you grief. So just back it off a bit until it starts working again. What I'm going to do now is loosen it up because I want to be able to shoot a 177 and get that, the velocity down from 1,000 feet per second down to the high 800s. So to do that, I just have to take my screw. Obviously it'd be nice if I had a larger screwdriver. It would fit that, but I'm just going to go ahead and turn this about 2 full turns. We'll run it over the chronograph and see where we're at. But I'm not going to do all that testing here for you. That's not the point. You'll be able to do that on your own and figure out what you need. But this is just to show you how easy it is to adjust the power on your Hatsan Hydra. And with all adjustments, I always recommend that you make a note of what you've changed so that you can return it to factory settings if you so desire. Just a helpful hint there. So with this now adjusted, I can go ahead and tighten up my set screws, locking it in place. And now we're ready to put it back into the stock. Now you'll notice here that there is a little bit of a groove for the safety. So that's what you just have to pay attention to line up as you're putting the gun back in the stock. So we take and line that up. I can see that over here on this side, and just squeeze this into place. And you notice that even with the hammer spring retaining nut pushed out from flush, the gun still fits into the stock just fine. If you were to adjust that out a ton, you might have to modify the stock to accommodate it, but we don't have that issue here. Just make sure everything's settled in, and we can take and screw our screw back in, and we're ready to go shoot. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more essentials.